Hey there, Saki here from SAKITECH, and in today's video I want to show you how to manage the battery on your Samsung Galaxy Note 9 using the built-in software features of your Note 9. Now the Note 9 has a massive 4000 mAh battery capacity, so after a full charge it does an excellent job of lasting you a full day. However, even then, based on circumstances, based on your lifestyle, it's good to know how to manage your battery life and be aware of all the features of your smartphone. So let's dive in and discover. By the way, if you're wondering what case I'm using for my Samsung Galaxy Note 9 on a daily basis, see the link down in the description box below to check out the case that I use. Alright, let's dive in. So here's what you want to do. You want to go to the settings and you want to go into the device maintenance, and then from here what you want to do is you want to go into the actual battery. You tap on that. By the way, you can ignore this one right here, but if you do ever see a message under the battery such as this one where it says 1 and it says fix now, simply tap on fix now and it's going to actually fix any battery draining problems that might be happening in the background. So in this case what happened was it found one battery draining app that was running in the background and it wants you to put this one to sleep to save power. So one way to check, one way to fix and optimize your battery is actually going into the device maintenance and looking for any messages under battery. And if you see any problems, just tap on that fix button and it's going to take care of any underlying problems that you may not see directly. Beyond that, what you want to do is you want to go to the battery. And from here, what you have is a power savings mode. Now right now, as you can see, the power saving mode is off, but you also have an option to enable a mid power savings mode, okay? And you also have the option to enable a maximum power savings mode. Now if you look at the bottom here, it says under mid, it says 1 day and 10 hours. So basically with the power savings mode off, you have 1 day and 3 hours of battery life based on your current battery usage. With the medium power savings mode, if you tap this and just click apply, you're going to get 1 day and 10 hours of battery life. And if you actually go to the maximum power savings mode, you're going to have 4 days of battery life, which is crazy. So if I tap on this guy here, you can see the same thing over here. It's going to add 2 days and 24 hours of battery life to the existing 1 day and 3 hours, which is going to end up being 4 days of maximum battery life. Now before I dive into the actual medium power savings mode, which is something you'll be using more often than the maximum one, let me show you what the maximum actually does to your phone. So basically, let's say that you're stranded, you're in the middle of nowhere, you only have 10% battery life, but you still have to do some phone calling and do some text messaging to survive. That's the kind of scenario in which the maximum power saving mode comes in handy. So let's show you exactly what it does. So you tap on this guy. There's no customization options other than the always on display and the background network usage option. So make sure if these are enabled, make sure to actually disable them. These are just battery draining processes. So you want to disable this and this, and then click apply and see what happens. So when you click apply, your phone is going to actually transform into a black and white phone. It's going to disable all the fancy features of the actual smartphone. And it's going to just give you the bare minimum stuff that you need to survive, such as text messaging, phone calling, and other stuff like the internet, basic web browsing. You can have access to settings, but it's going to be a minimized settings option. Okay, you can add a couple apps here. If you tap on this one, I can add things like the calculator. I can add things like the calendar, maybe the camera for a couple quick shots and stuff like that. You can customize all this. WhatsApp, for example. So these are just basic things. You're not really allowed to watch movies, play games in this mode. And that's why even with 61% of battery, you're able to run this phone for 4 days as long as you stick to the basics. Now, once you're done with the maximum power savings mode, you tap on this icon, you turn it off. It takes you right back into your full battery mode. Let's give it a couple seconds here, and there we go. Now let's go back into that setting. Let's go back into device maintenance. Let's go back into the battery, And then what I want to take a look at is the medium power savings mode. Now let's get rid of that. The one thing I want to show you at the bottom here is this is the app power monitor. Now this monitors all these apps to make sure these apps are not draining any battery. If you don't want this option, you can just disable the given app. So if you want to use the Twitter app freely, you can just disable that so it's not going to be monitored. But it's good to monitor it, and if something crazy happens, you can tap on save power and it's going to perform some duties to actually save you some extra power battery. Now let's go to the medium power savings mode. I'm going to show you something you can do here. So when you tap this, by default you have a bunch of options. All these options are customizable. So you can enable the background network usage, you can enable the always on display, you can enable or disable the speed limiter. In this case, by default it is enabled. So if you enable this, it's going to actually limit the power of your processor, and that of course saves you some battery life. And if you look over here, it says decrease the brightness. So it decreases the brightness of your smartphone's display by 10%. You can actually adjust this. You can do 5% or none. 10 is the maximum allowed. And of course the screen resolution goes from whatever you have to full high definition plus. So the WQHD is the highest definition. Full HD plus is the medium, and HD plus is the lowest resolution. The lower the resolution, the more battery that you're going to save. So once you're done with all this, I do recommend allowing the background network usage, and also you could turn this off. And with these options, you have 6 hours of extra battery life. But watch what happens if I actually enable these. This goes down. So if you enable the always on display, you lose 4 hours of battery life. So that's a big battery eater. Okay, so look, take a look at over there. Disabled 6 hours and 43 minutes. Enabled 2 hours and 41 minutes. With the background usage, if you enable this, again 2 hours and 9 minutes. Okay, so you're losing approximately 30 minutes. So if I do this, 6 hours 11 minutes. If I do this, 6 hours 43 minutes. So this is going to be disabled. This is going to be disabled. These can be enabled. If you disable this one, not a big difference, but the CPU always runs at maximum performance. So if you enable it, you get some extra battery life. Same with these guys. Now when you're ready, you click apply. And then the phone is going to apply those settings, and it's going to give you an up-to-date battery life expectancy over here. And also you can touch this button here, and it takes you into the detailed use of your battery. So if you scroll all the way down, it'll show you what apps are using most of your battery. And from here, you can make some decisions. You can look at the Best Buy application, and you can see it's only doing 1%, not a big deal. My screen is actually, the screen is actually taking most of my battery life, which is at 8%, which also means that if you reduce the brightness of the screen, it's going to eat less battery. So again, if you go back out here and if you tap on the battery usage icon, it gives you details on which app is eating most of your battery life. And then you have a button here. From here you can optimize battery usage. You can refresh this entire screen. But that's basically it. So you've got the maximum savings mode. When you're stranded, you have access to nothing, but you have to maximize your life, battery life as much as possible. Then you go with this guy. Okay? No playing games, no watching videos. If you just want to increase the battery life, maybe you have 50% left and you're scared it's not going to last you for a given period of time, then you go with the medium power savings mode and you customize it, and you look at that button here at the bottom, which gives you an estimate of how much more battery life you're going to be getting. Okay, so again, if you press any one of these guys, that number changes. So that's that, and then you can turn it off. When you turn it off, everything is maximized. Now, in relation to the battery, I just want to show you one more thing. If you go back into the settings, if you do go to the display, obviously the brightness, make sure that you keep this as little as possible. So if you don't need a bright screen, just reduce the brightness, because that eats the most of the battery. The other thing you want to do is you want to go to the screen resolution, and I highly recommend that you keep it in the middle. So high definition plus is a low resolution. You don't want that on a phone like this, but this is a respectable resolution. This is acceptable. But if you want the full glory of every little sharpness, every little detail, you can enable this. and then click done, and that's going to change the screen resolution. But I do recommend that you keep it over here. You're not going to see a big difference, and you are going to save some battery. Okay, so that's the battery management features built into your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them down below. Of course, make sure to subscribe to SAKITECH and give this video a thumbs up. And finally, if you do use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, follow me on all at SAKITECH Online. Guys, have a fantastic day.